Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to go over Wingspan, which is a 1 to 5 player game published by Stonemaier Games. Now, when we go down to the table here, I'm just going to give you a general overview of the game. We're going to go over the feel of how it plays with the multiplayer, but we're not going to go over the single player rules. So this game does have a solo option through the Autonoma. I'll let you discover that on your own. It's good, but let's go ahead down to the table here, and I'll give you a general overview of the game, and we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so today we're going to look at Wingspan, and this is going to be the general layout of a game. Now, I'm only showing one player board, but each player would get one of these boards. To start the game, you're going to shuffle these cards. You're going to place three different birds out on display up here. You're going to then pick whether you want to play a friendly game, so everyone can get the objectives that we'll be putting here in a second, or a competitive game where only the first, second, and third place people will score points. So you pick which mode you want to play. We'll just play the friendly game on here. And no matter which mode you pick, you're going to randomly go through these tiles here. So just randomly place these tiles on here. And these different tiles are the objective for each round. And how many times you meet that objective is how many points you have. So this one here is going to be eggs in birds with platform nests. So you have this little icon on there. And where that comes from on the cards is each bird has a nest type. So this one lays its eggs on the ground. But you match the symbol up with the objective. So like this one here is going to be birds that live in trees. Live in trees, but have their nests in trees, sorry. So you're gonna look at the symbol there. So each round, so there's gonna go over 4 rounds, you're going to try to meet these objectives and try to get points from playing birds. And we're gonna go over how to do that now. Well, actually, we're gonna do over one more setup thing that I forgot to mention. You're gonna get 2 bonus cards in the game, and you're gonna pick one of them. You can get more of these through birds in the game, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at what the objective is. You can look at your hand of cards before you decide. You can look at your hand of cards before you decide. But once you decide, you're going to discard one and keep the other. It'll actually tell you how many birds in the game match that, how percentage of birds in the game match this card. So there's 31% of birds that have nests in trees. If you get 4 of them, if you get 4 to 5 birds, you'll get 4 points. If you get 6 plus birds on your tableau, you'll get 7 points. This one here, only 28% of the birds match it, but you only have to have birds that have at least 4 eggs laid on them. This here will allow you to get a point per bird. So you could get more points with this, so you have to decide which one you're gonna get. Once you pick, you just put it face down in your area because that won't score until the end of the game. And like I said, there's other opportunities to get more in the game as you progress through it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a look at your 5 bird cards. You're gonna balance a couple things out with these bird cards. Each bird has a point that you'll get at the end of the game for putting them on your board. You will also notice that they have where they live, or lay eggs. This one's in a tree. They also have how many eggs they can have on the card, which are going to be all different. They are going to have potentially an ability. Some have when played, and some have when activated. We'll go over when that activated. Some have when another player does something. If you have any that have when another player does something, that can only occur once before your turn. So you can't, if multiple players do that action, you don't get multiple bonuses, you only get one before your turn. The other thing that's important on here is going to be the habitat it can be in, which is 3 different habitats. There's the forest, there's the grass, and the water. Some of them can only live in a single region. Some of them can live in 2 different regions. Some of them can live in all 3. So the other thing is going to be how much the bird costs. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to pick how many cards you want to keep. So and however many cards you get rid of, you get that many resources. So let's say I get rid of these 3. I just want to keep these 2. I can then pick three different resources. They all have to be different. So I can pick, and I can take a look at these cards, and I can say, okay, well, I definitely want a worm and a cherry and a grain. So that's what I'm going to get. So I can put a worm, a cherry, and a grain on here. And now we can actually start the game. To start the game, you're going to get cubes. Now these cubes here are nice because this is going to be the timer for the game. Whoever's first will get to pick an action, and then it'll go around until all the cubes have been used, and then the first player marker moves, and so on and so forth until the game ends. Now one thing that to keep in mind is while you're playing through each round, you're going to have less and less actions, because what's going to happen is at the end of the round, you're going to see if you meet these objectives, and you're going to take one of your cubes and place it on how many times you met the objectives, and wherever number this is on, that is going to be how many points you're going to get at the end of each round that you're going to add to your score. So on your turn, so keep that in mind, but on your turn you can do three different things. You can, or four different things. You can play a bird. So if you play a bird, you can put that there. Then you can take a look at your birds and play the one that you have the resources for. So this one, I'm going to play this guy. And this would be a bad idea because you may want to wait until you have you can play another one, because this one states that you can play a second in your area. But we're just going to play it anyway. So I'll have to pay the resources. And I can place it in here. Now, it has to be from the leftmost section, and it goes to the right. Now, if you go into these other areas on here, these actually cost eggs also. So you have to spend one egg for this column, one egg for this column, 2 eggs for this column, and 2 eggs for this column to be able to complete it. The other thing you'll notice is when we get into doing these actions, they get better as you go along. If I do gain food from a bird feeder, I only get to pick 1 die. If I go here, I can pick 1 die, but then if I discard a card from my hand, so let's do that. I can discard this card from my hand, and then I can pick 2 dice from this really cool bird feeder. Now, the bird feeder mechanism works really simply. I can pull my dice from there, and whatever's on the top is what I got, and get those resources. If I can pull a resource and there's only 1 type in there, then I can actually re-roll all the dice into the bird feeder before I pick what resource I want. Also, if there's nothing in the bird feeder, you can re-roll it. But that's going to be basically it. You're going to get your resource. You're going to, on this one, like I said, I could discard a card and I'll get 2 resources. And if you keep building birds into this tableau, they keep getting better until the end where you can get, where it's right here, whatever is the next one uncovered, you get, like this one, you get 3 dice. And if you cover this last one, you can get 3 dice, and you can discard a card for a 4th die, which is really nice. As you're doing this, so let's say we're going to explain the next action. And grassland. Actually, I even put this guy in the wrong area. So we're going to put him in here. So let's say we have this. So sorry about that. You can only put forest birds in the forest area. I put them in the wrong area. So let's say I do this one, which is now my 3rd action I can pick. I can put, once you use them, they're over here. But if I put a cube here, I can then get 3 eggs. So I can lay 3 eggs. And just as a note, the game doesn't come with these containers. So here's the eggs. I can lay 3 eggs, and I can also remove a resource if I wanted to get a 4th egg if I had this many birds over here. Now, you place your eggs on any bird that you want that you can. So they have maximums on there. You do want to pay attention to your goals. So I get a point for every egg that is in a bird that lays their eggs inside of a tree. So I can do that. Then you're going to move your cube along from left to right, or from right to left. Sorry, right to left. And then you get to see these brown are actions that can happen when you activate them. So I can tuck one of the cards from my hand underneath this card, which is going to be anytime you tuck cards underneath birds or points at the end of the game. If I do, I get to lay an egg on this bird. So you get to activate these actions as you go along. The last thing you can pick on your turn is going to be draw cards. And draw cards is pretty simple. You can either get the card from here. So you can look at these birds that are in the array, that you can pick any of them when you want. If you don't like any of them there, you can always draw from the top of the deck. These don't get replaced until at the end of your turn, but you can, like I said, you can either pick from there or here. And again, this one powers up as you go through. You can get more and more cards. So like I said, you're going to keep doing this until you run out of cubes. Then you're going to score the round. And you're going to continue this until the end of the 4th round. And the person with the most points, so you're going to get points from this. You're going to get points from a couple different things. We'll just go over them real quick. So you're going to have a cool score card. You're going to get points from all your birds, which are going to be this right here. You're going to get points for your bonus cards, hopefully. You're going to count up your end of round bonuses, or points for the end of the rounds. You're going to get a point for every single egg that you put down, or still have down. You're going to get a point for food on the cards. Now, all these little brown activation actions can do different things. Some of them allow you to store food on the birds. So you can get points for each one of those that you got. And then any cards you tucked under birds, you'll also get a point per card that you put underneath there. So that you add all that up, and that's it. So there's a lot of different scoring opportunities in the game, and there's a lot of different avenues you can take. You can try to build a little bit of an engine in these different areas. There's birds that hop between different regions or different parts on your map. There's lots of cool things that can happen in this game. So that is basically how you play the game. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Wingspan. So Wingspan, published by Stonemaier Games. This game, first off, the component quality is amazing in this game. I love the cardboard dice tower that looks like a birdhouse the game comes with. I've never had a game, well, I mean, there's Wallenstein and other ones that come with a sort of dice tower, but this is a real dice tower that looks like a bird feeder, and it works really well. It's really cool how they engineered it, and it interlocks and it stays together. The player mounts are great quality. The cards are great quality. I love the big card tray holder, and then the top, it can be used to set up your array of 3 cards to show the players. Component quality, amazing game. I don't think I've ever had a Stonemaier game where I can't say that the component quality is amazing. They have a very high standard of quality, and this game definitely continues on with that high quality standard. I really like collecting the birds in this game. I love how each habitat has a different action that occurs. I love the resource gathering and deciding of when to place the birds, the bonus mechanisms on there. Great game. The only negative I have on the game at all is if you're looking for a game where you're going to be comboing a lot, this game isn't really a game where you combo a lot. If you have a combo, it's more the luck of the draw for what comes up. With that said, though, that's just a minor ding on the game. The game is amazing. You can still have synergy through different things. You're just not really going to be comboing very much. So it's not a combo game if that's what you're looking for, but it is a really good tableau building game with a really cool theme. Again, awesome. I love how they have a little italicized text on the bottom that gives you a little bit of flavor about each of the birds. I don't even go out and watch birds, and I just love it. It's great. I mean, it's other bonuses for the game is, although I took a little bit of time teaching it, I pretty much went over what you need to tell someone to start a game. It's pretty easy to teach, so that's another thing that is great about this game. I almost consider this game as a mid-entry level game. So once someone gets in the hobby and plays some games and learns some mechanics and gets comfortable, this would be like the next step game. It's not you know, it still has some concepts that are will take some time to get used to, but it's a pretty good entry level game, and it's a great game for people that play tons of games like me. It's just an all around good game, and this game is definitely going to be a staple in my collection. This is going to be one that's going to stay in it forever. So that, I don't know if I could get how I could give it a higher compliment, but that was Wingspan. If you're looking for a tableau building game and a fun game to play with your friends and family, even if they're not completely into the hobby, this is a great game. Thank you for watching.